Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Today we're going to be talking about a series close to my heart, Final Fantasy. These top 4 games are my personal favourite, so if you do disagree with this list, then you're welcome to voice your opinion in the comments below. The lists I create are all about personal experiences, as these games are all amazing in different aspects, and objectively, I don't think there is a superior game between the 4 except maybe number 1, but instead just different experiences within different times of my life. That being said, let's crack on with the list. Final Fantasy VII was released on January 31st, 1997. This was a game that took the West by storm. Final Fantasy before 7 was a series known by some, but after Final Fantasy VII, the whole gameverse knew of this series. This game for me is great. It was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played and is one of my earliest memories with my mum and dad. We had just moved into a house and had a TV set up with the PlayStation 1, and we would all lay down and play. They were so patient when I would play the game and let me explore all of Midgar and name the characters funny names like Spiky and Mr. T. Looking back at it now, I consider it being low-key racist, but hey, I was a kid. Ignorance is bliss and all that. Final Fantasy VII's main strengths for me came from the interesting party that you would acquire, apart from one guy that no one likes. Looking at you, Kate Sif. My favourite character is Red 13, also known as Nanaki, because his arc of self-discovery and emotional shock me and Nanaki both went through to find that his father, who he thought was a coward, was instead a brave warrior that died to save his village, and let's not forget the amazing score that played during the scene, Cosmo Canyon. On the other hand, we had some memorable baddies like the Midgar Zolom, Rufus, the Turks, the weapons, and let's not forget everyone's favourite 1997 most luxurious White Locks winner, Sephiroth! Overall, Final Fantasy VII is a great game and I'm really looking forward to the remake coming out in April. The follow-up to the great and mighty Final Fantasy VII. For some it was a step down, and for others it was a step up, and as you can see by the place on the list, it was a step up for me. Final Fantasy VIII was released on October 27th, 1999. My first bit of exposure to the game was seeing my mother play it when I came back from school. My jaw dropped to the floor as I had only previously seen 7's blocky graphics, but now the characters actually had long limbs and real hands. Like me! Once my mother left to go cook dinner, I put my memory card in the PlayStation and hit new game. Boy oh boy was my brain not prepared for one of the best intros I'd ever seen. With Final Fantasy VIII, there are a few highlights for me, and that's the GF system, triple triad minigame, and the junction system. That's right, I actually enjoyed the draw system. Go ahead, type in the comments just how much I must be a madman. The reason why I rate this game higher than Final Fantasy VII is because of the GF system. GF stands for Guardian Force, and they have a heavy impact on story, world building, and gameplay. The Guardian Force exists in specific energy fields and can become resident within objects and living organisms. When a human junctions a GF, they are given superhuman strength, enhanced body functions, and can even temporarily summon a GF in its material form to protect/attack its user. The drawback of the Guardian Force is that they draw power from the same place within the brain that contains memories. So, junction Guardian Forces in the long term cause memory loss, which heavily impacts the story of the game. The issue I have with Final Fantasy VIII is that my tiny brain actually thought that college would be similar to the experience of Final Fantasy VIII. I spent hours in college looking for the room with the giant T-Rex, but no! I was lied to! I lived a lie for so long. I was really happy with my Final Fantasy VIII experience and have fond memories of it, and for me personally I prefer it to Final Fantasy VII, so I'm happy where it is on the list. Final Fantasy XII was released on February 23rd, 2007, and from what I can remember had mixed reviews on it due to lack of a leading man. Poor Balthier, how dare they overlook you. The story itself is different to the other entrances within the series, with no focus on any particular party member, and the story mainly focusing on the politics and war within the world of Ivalice, which gives the game a more adult tone, which I came to appreciate as I got older. The highlights for Final Fantasy XII for me is its fast open world, the hunting system, and the gambit system. Final Fantasy XII's hunting system is one of the most fun side quests within the series. It was built into the world of Ivalice flawlessly, and it was not simple either. You actually had to think about some hunts. What would be the best gambits? How do I get the hunt to appear? Overall, I think it's a very core to the game. If you never bothered with the hunting system within this game and found it lacking, I would urge you to try again, but also do the hunts. The world of Ivalice is the most diverse hands down in any Final Fantasy game, with a large variety of enemies to boot which really boosted the world building within the game. The Gambit system. This was what most players had an issue with, but I personally love toying with the system itself. Being able to program my party to fight in a specific way was a great way to experience the game, and if I needed to, I was able to take it over at any point I wanted. Overall, Final Fantasy XII is just high amounts of content with great quality to boot. You can easily spend 100 plus hours doing everything within this game. Here we go, one of the best games ever made. Final Fantasy X done everything right. The traditional Final Fantasy combat perfected, the best scores to come out of Nobuo Uematsu and his team, amazing side quests, amazing graphics, best theme and amazing story. Now I'm going to tell you a little story, just like I have with the others. After my family had finally settled into its new home, I came to visit on the weekends as always. But on the drive home, my dad said, "I've got a great surprise for you, JJ." That's my family nickname for me. And I can remember arriving and my dad loading up the game. I can remember my little brain seeing the main menu Final Fantasy X, but just thinking, oh, it's another Final Fantasy game. But then the character spoke. My mind was blown. This character had come to life and was speaking to each other. When we got into the intro, the song Otherworld by Rammstein was playing, and then I was immediately hooked. The world's theme really felt foreign to me at the time, but in a good way. It made me more interested in the game. Back then I could not tell you why it interested me so much, but I can now. The game's aesthetics are very influenced by Asian cultures, from the buildings to the clothes, which made the game more interesting, as it was something I'd never previously been exposed to and created a new love for different cultures. Summons within the world of Spira play a core part within the game, from a story standpoint and a gameplay standpoint. The gameplay of the summons was really cool. I enjoyed leveling them up and making them stronger, although there is one particular summon that was basically a cheat for the whole game. Looking at you, young Jimbo buddy. That's right. Yeah, you little cheater. And that's right, viewer. I know you used him too on that particular hard boss on the bridge. I could wrap it on about this game forever and tell you every great detail, but that'll be for another video. What I will note is that the game's music hooked me. To Zanarkand and Otherworld are great compositions that can be enjoyed all by themselves, and I sometimes found myself randomly humming the Hymn of the Faith. When a game has bled into your real life, you know it has had an effect on you, and that's what Final Fantasy X did. It bled into my life and I am all the better for it. Well, that's my top 4 Final Fantasy games. If some of you are wondering on why I only done 4 games, it's because they were the games that I enjoyed the most, and others don't really come close to it. Not to say the others are bad, because they're not. They are good, but they are not my top Final Fantasy games. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy, make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more content from me, and comment down below what are your favourite Final Fantasy games and why. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy, I do release a new series called Did They Do Anything Wrong? I've done one on Yevon and now I've just finished my video on Gwyn, so make sure you check both of those videos out. Anyway, see you guys later. Peace!